Welcome back everyone. In today's video I'm going to show you 3 upgrades that you can do to prepare your shed for the winter. There is quite a bit of rain this week and I've got to work in between the rain, so let's get to it. So as we go inside the shed, you can see it's a bit of a mess in here because we just finished our camping season, so it's kind of a mixed mash of things going on in here. I've got a small lumber storage rack here for some boards, a few boxes from deliveries that kind of accumulate, which I'm going to recycle at some point. My folding sawhorses, which if you haven't seen the video on that yet, you should watch that video and build yourself some. Got my shelving at the back that I customized for the shed. So you can see in some areas here I've doubled up on the framing because the kit didn't really have enough framing at all. It had the minimum amount of framing. The trusses were in pieces and were pre-cut and were pretty easy to assemble. There's nothing actually joining the trusses together. Again, for a minimum requirement on an 8x12 shed, you don't really need a ridge beam, but I'm going to show you how I add a ridge beam to this to make it a little more solid for the winter time. A couple of viewers who chimed in on the first video and said, hey, you need some ventilation in there, and they were absolutely right. It provides enough airflow through the top of the shed to keep the air circulating, and that's been tested in the highest heat, especially this summer. We've had a particularly hot summer. For those of you who made that suggestion on the first video, thank you very much. That was a great suggestion. And just like that, you have yourself a ridge beam. For the critter screen, I'm using a 1/2 inch square galvanized mesh. I have 3 rolls of it. That should be enough to wrap around the entire shed. I've installed the mesh around the shed. The next step is to put some pressure treated trim. We'll make it look a little nicer on the top and will help seal off any edges and corners that could not be covered by the mesh wire. weather stripping can be expensive. Buying a panel with rubber on it to seal off the double doors costs somewhere around $35 to $40 at the hardware store. I found another solution, which is I'll just make my own panel for the inside of the door, and I'll just use this $13 can of white rubber coating and a couple of pieces of leftover scrap door skin to make a weather seal on the inside of the double doors. Did I mention it cost me $13? That concludes doing some useful upgrades to your shed to prepare for the winter time. Now, the critter screen was probably the most work. Going around it, it took about 2 days in total. It was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. But the other upgrades were really simple, really straightforward. All I had to do was use some short end 2x4s that I had to do a ridge beam across to reinforce my roof. Visit my Patreon page over here for extra content, and if you want to buy me a beer. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. There are a couple more videos on this side to watch. Until next time, thanks for watching and have a great day.